Hey guys, oh man, you guys know this gun, my Jag Arm Super CQB. A long story short, I sold this a couple years ago after I did my original videos, and my God, I missed the damn thing. So I bought it back from the guy that I sold it to. He actually didn't use it much. It just kind of sat in a closet. So when I was testing it, it wouldn't feed properly, which sucked. It only shoot about 1 or 2 rounds a piece. If I was lucky, sometimes it just wouldn't feed at all. And then also every about 3 or 4 shots, it would just ridiculously bleed air. So it needed some TLC. So what I did was I purchased a rebuild kit that came with a ton of extra O-rings and a new feeding mechanism. I've already installed these pieces, but as I disassemble this to reinstall the ejection piece, I'll kind of explain how I fixed everything, and you guys are going to see a complete breakdown. So sit back, relax, and this is how you take apart a Super CQB. First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take the back end off of this. I'm pretty sure all the gas is out, but always make sure you do that, guys. This is a 6mm, by the way. 6mm will get the screw off the back of the pistol grip. Now, one mistake that I made is I lost the O-ring that went around this guy. Good thing I had a rebuild kit, so don't lose that if you're taking this apart. Now we'll pop out the pins, take this out, it'll kind of lift up, and you have to finagle the catch. Got it. This part, be careful. There are 3 springs, one here, and one that holds the dust cover on, which I took off. I'm about to put that back on. So I'm going to slide it off, catch the first spring, and the second one just kind of pops out on the back. It's not going to fully fly off, so catch that out. Alright, so I'm going to take this spring off because I've already had this fly around the room about 5 times. If you lose it, guys, I'm just saying, have a magnet ready. It helps me find it every time. But anyway, got that apart. Pretty simple. Now, this next part, pull the pump back, and it will reveal a screw. You're going to want to take that out. Just a Phillips head, standard Phillips head. Pretty easy. Don't lose that guy. All right, now you can do this one of 2 ways. I'm going to do it the really super safe and easy way. Get a hex, and I'm going to actually take these 2 screws off that are on the pump arm. If I'm actually naming these right, I'll be happy. Just this piece, that piece. All right. Now the underbarrel is actually going to slide out. Easy. And now the pump arm, after we take this piece off, will now come off as well. Now the next thing we got to take off is the outer barrel. I'm going to take out these 2 screws right here. So now your upper will slide right off. Pretty easy. And now what you need to do is I'm going to take out the screw here and the screw here to take out the inner barrel. Now the inner barrel just slides right out. Back over, and now I'm going to take off this metal arm. Has a screw right here. I've done this about 6 times over the last couple days. It's just been a project. All right, now for the next part, I'm going to take off the next part. There's a screw here and a screw here that holds in this cylinder, so I'm going to take those out. Now, to go all the way around the entire gearbox assembly and take out every last little screw, I'm going to start with the end here. I'll work my way around, and what I like to do is I'll start, put one down, next one, put one down. And what I like to do is I'll line them all up in the order I take them out of, so it's real easy to put back together. There's no guesswork on which screw goes in which hole. Okay, so at that point I've got all my screws out. Now we got to take all this off. So I'll start on one end, just kind of crack it a little bit. It's all plastic, so take your time. And I'm actually going to push the I don't even know what part you want to call it. So I'm going to push this in because it needs to move out the way so you can get the front end off. Be careful because some of these springs might still fly out at you. But there you go. My one side of this build. Now, I'm going to kind of... This is the fun part. You know what? I'll show you guys the complete disassembly. This little spring here just pops right up. It sits on a track, and it's pretty easy. This cylinder, this is where all your gas goes. Now, my leak that I actually found out was because of the front and the backs of these O-rings. I'll show you where all the O-rings are. So there's each one of these silver Allens. They go the entire length of the cylinder, and each one of them have a very small O-ring, right? So there's 3 of them for you to replace right there. On the front of this cap, these 3 screws, there's an O-ring in there. That was, if I'm not mistaken, it was, nope. Yeah, oh, there it is. This one here. This one here is in there. And then, once you take all that apart, you will find 2 clear ones to replace, another large one to replace, one of these, and one of these. So in my rebuild kit that I did, I ended up using only about half of the O-rings. I'm assuming that's because the rest of them are extra or they go to one of the other styles that they have. But I went all up and down this thing. Those are the only O-rings that I was able to find. So anyway, replaced them all. Make sure I lubed them up with a little bit of silicone. And yeah, first try, she was working beautifully. Just don't forget about that one on the end for you guys. But anyway, I'll put this back together. What I forgot to do, because all my springs shot up all over the freaking place, was the shell ejection port. There you go. Which goes right here. Can't believe there's always that one piece, right, gentlemen? Right there. So I cannot believe that I had to do this whole disassembly. Just put that one little plastic back in there. Now for this build, I'm not putting the door back on. Guys, the door, I'll show you with the spring here. The door will go with the spring up the way, like this. You can kind of see that, right? So you got one catch right there on the door, and the other one goes in the body to give you that ejection piece. I'm taking this off, however. If you see my other video, you need that off for the M4 tap mag adapter, which I'm going to be using on this sucker once I'm completed here. So let's put it back together. So put this guy in the track. Make sure he's on the track. Pretty simple, right? Let me get my top piece back on. Push this, slide this back. Awesome. All right, once you get it all in there, it should sit pretty flush by itself. Then we're going to go round robin and get all these screws back in place. So let's start with that. Now, here's a tip for you guys. When you're putting this part, this arm back on the left side, make sure you get the lip, the groove in this rod over the silver rod. That, my friends, is why you might have misfires, or it won't shoot correctly, or it jams up on you, because that lip does not get in there correctly. So I'm gonna just leave my finger on it for now. Alright, now I'm going to put the outer shell back on here, and I'm going to be very slow, very careful, because I don't want those springs to pop back out, as you've seen already. A couple of them have. So sometimes I'll just put on halfway and then do one spring at a time. Now sometimes when I put this together, I want to give you all a tip. It might not fit, and that's because these arms aren't fully flush on the inner shell. So keep that in mind. If you're having to fight it, reassess where you put those arms. All right, However, the fun part, the trigger can kind of get a little funny. What happens why it gets funny is the shell ejection button might be in the way, or you might need to pull the pump back and help that interior mechanism grab it correctly. So I'm gonna put it in kind of sideways a little bit, move my shell, and as you see, it goes right in there, right flush. Done. So let me get my pins back in. Cool. As you saw, I just tested it. I like to test it, make sure the trigger functions before I get the pistol grip on. And then when I'm getting the pistol grip, I'm going to make sure that O-ring is still there, which it is. And I'll put that guy on here. Test the gas, make sure you have no leaks in the handle, which I don't. And, oh yeah. She's looking good. I'm loving it. So anyway, guys, that's a complete disassembly. I really hope that helps you guys out. For more tips and tricks, see our playlist. And any questions, feel free to reach us on any of our social media platforms. So thanks, guys. Catch you later.